I can say, okay, I'll take this wall out. I don't need to deal with anything. All I have to do is patch the gyprock, patch the wool and the vapor barrier, and that's it. If I'm taking this wall out, I got to temporarily support my trusses or my joists on top on both sides. I got to take the wall out, and whatever I replace it with has to be a beam because I've got to support whatever's up there. So again, if you're taking this guy out, see they've got headers there. So whatever chunk of this wall I have to take out, you pretty much need an engineer. You need to know what kind of beam you have to put up there. Now again, like I was saying, with modern technology and LVLs, what you can do is, so you've got this. You've got a wall that's holding up a bunch of stuff. Okay. Let's say it's holding up your joist for the next floor, right? And you want to take this out. So like Andrew said, you're going to temporarily support both sides. Where is everybody? No. Michael? Like Michael? Kevin? And Ludwig. They're all in the bathroom together? Are they sitting there having a coffee?
No, they're helping each other out.
Jesus, man.
Oh, I tell you, man, I don't know what to do with you guys. Okay, so you've got two joists like that, guys. You've got two joists like that. You're going to temporarily support each side, right? You temporarily support each side. Now you can take that wall out, right? Safely without your house falling down. You're going to take that wall out. And then you have to put a beam or some kind of header, right? You have to hold that up. So instead of having a wall, you're going to put a beam from, let's say, the header to the header. Then you can take that whole section of wall out. So a supporting wall, you can't really take it out. You have to put something else in there that it supports it. So either a beam or a header, which is pretty much the same thing. The only bonus is what I've done a ton of, I made a lot of money with it too, is you can take it and you can put the beam up in the attic. So instead of it being exposed, you can put the beam up here, right? And then you're going to hang your joist with joist hangers like that, and then the client has a nice clean open ceiling. You don't have a box like that.
Yeah.
You don't have a check like this, because normally when you do, like in a basement, you always have these because that's the beam, right? They want the ceiling as high as possible. The beam's down on the bottom.
And the hangers are strong enough.
The hangers are plenty strong, yeah. Which is again, that's going to be an LVL. Like I did a job that was about 22 feet, and we had 3-ply, true 2-inch by 18-inch LVLs, 3 of them to put up. Put all those up right into the attic, right up. Ceiling joists were already there. We only cut it probably a 1/4 inch. It's all done with lasers and stuff. You put the hangers in, you tack it all in, you glue it, nail it all together, put the ceiling back up, and that's it. And the lady comes home. She came home after about 5 days, 6 days, or whatever. So you have all these temporary walls up everywhere, you know. So the place is full. It's all demoed. And then one afternoon, you take everything down. And she comes in at the end of the day, and like 3/4 of her house was all wide open. And she's like, "Oh my God," you know. And then we were done. We just did the rough stuff, and then they installed a massive kitchen. We did all the flooring, everything. But that's what they paid for. It was, you know, $50,000 just the rough carpentry. And she walks in, it's all over. You know, so that's the beauty of LVLs in modern engineering. We probably wouldn't be able to do that. That's a true 2-inch by 18-inch. You can't even buy lumber like that. Like, it doesn't exist, you know. So again, back to LVLs and Futrells and modern stuff. Okay, so a load-bearing wall, it's going to be the same sort of rules. Headers, jacks, kings, cripplers, everything. Exactly like an exterior wall. Your rough openings will be pretty much the same, a little bit bigger. Interior wall opening, what did we do for exterior? We added what? Well, in an exterior window, what did we add to the width? Not the header size. 1/2 inch, right? For your header, you do 4-inch. Stick with that rule. You'll see down below. It really, really helps. It's a really simple, good rule of thumb. 4-inch. But on our openings for an exterior, we have a 1/2 inch. On an interior, normally you go 2.5 inches.
Why?
Okay, because you have a jamb. Okay, the jamb is it's like the box. It's like the box of the window. Okay, so if you have a window,
Oh, like the frame of it.
the frame, yeah, you know. So you have a window, you're gonna have a jamb. You're gonna have like a little box that holds the window in, right? It's usually 3/4 inch pine. Hanging a door. Oh, these doors are terrible example. You hang a normal door. A pre-hung door you buy at Home Depot, right? Comes with a box. You know what I mean? Comes with a box with a door. That jamb is normally 3/4 of an inch, 3/4 of an inch. Okay? So when you talk about rough openings for interior, it's 2.5 because that box comes with the door. So if you have a 36-inch door, it's got 3/4 on each side for that jamb. Okay? So that's 1.5 inches. So there's one book down below that says leave your rough openings at 2 inch. That's really tight because you've got 1.5 inches of jamb. That gives you 1/4 inch on each side. So rule of thumb for rough openings for an interior division, interior door, is 2.5 inches. It sounds like a lot, but when you pick that 36-inch door up, it's actually 37.5 because you've got 2 chunks of 3/4 on each side that you put in. That'll give you 1/2 inch on each side. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rule of thumb, 1 inch on exterior and 2.5 inches on interior. Normally, you're not normally putting windows on interior walls, so it's a pre-hung door that you're putting in that. So with that pre-hung door, is you have a door, right? And then you have the jamb that the door is in, right? And then you're gonna put your casing on that. So that jamb is 3/4, so 1.5 inches. So you can go 2 inches, but that's only 1/4 inch on each side. So normally we just go 2.5 inches and it's plenty. That gives you plenty of room for shims, and then you cover all that with trim, with casings anyways. Cool? All right. A few more little pictures here. So here's a staggered wall. So again, we were talking about like R2000, more modern building concepts. You'll run into stuff like this, and what does this do? This just cancels all that thermal bridging. So you can have a bit of cold coming into this stud, but there's a full piece of wood overlapping that whole piece. So it really cancels out thermal bridging. You'll also find walls like this built for soundproofing. So you have those bass frequencies, they never transfer right through the wall. They'll get into one stud, but it just kind of kills it, and you'll have a bit of rock sole. It never transfers right through the whole wall. It's like the studs are all staggered, so you always have at least one warm side. Okay, you'll see that more and more. You guys are going to be seeing this. Non-load bearing partition. You can see how they frame it. On center's framing, and you can see it's just a 2x4 on the flat. It's very, very simple. It's non-load bearing. It doesn't have to be super strong at all. All it's doing is holding gyprock. Very, very simple to build. We'll do a few down below. The trickier ones to build are your exterior ones. But again, you build it the same way, pop it up, nail it to the ceiling, off you go.
So you can take out any non-load bearing wall if you want to make it like an more open.
Hey, it's not. The house isn't going to fall down. You start messing around with load bearing walls, and you'll see guys that do it, and it's not good. You know, that's why you really have to do your homework, because there's a big price difference. Come in and a non-load bearing wall. You know, we'll make Kevin's bedroom into 2 bedrooms, or no, make Kevin's bedroom 2 into 1. What are you doing, Kevin? 2 into 1. You want to do 2 into 1. Okay, let's say Kevin's sister's moved out and he needs more room. Well, you can knock down her wall. If it's a non-load bearing wall, no problem. You're just doing a gyprock repair and a floor repair. If it's a load bearing wall, there's a way more involved. You have to get in there with a beam. You have to get in there with a big header or something like that. Yeah, it's a bit trickier, and it's the finding out, because it's hard to tell when you're in a house that's finished. You have no idea. You have no idea how even my concept of a rectangle. Chances are they're like that. You're still not 100% sure.
But you have the planning.
You check the plans, yeah. You can go up top. You know, if you go up top and you see all the joists are cut and they're sitting in the attic, or if the trusses have a gusset right on top of the wall, you know, it's tricky until you take the gyprock off. You take the gyprock off and you see a big fat header. It's a load bearing wall.
Let's say you don't have the plans. Can you order your plans for your house, or
you can go to the town. They normally have them on file if it's a new enough town, like where I'm from. Not so much.
that's your only chance?
Yeah, you gotta go and pay for them, you know. So So there's our interior wall. Again, guys, I'll show you all this down below. Your exterior wall we kind of looked at enough. I've got more calculations for material. That's about it. I have a little quiz for you, and then we're pretty much done. Ceiling joists we don't get into, of course. You know, estimating. Super simple to estimate. If you're doing 16-inch on centers, you take your linear feet and you divide it by 1 foot. Okay? So 16-inch on center, you divide by 1 foot. Okay? It's going to compensate for all your king posts, all your corner posts, everything. It works very well. Again, for plywood, you're going to take your linear feet. You guys know what linear feet is, right? If you have a building, my question, 50 by 35, you're going to go 50 plus 35 times 2. That's your whole perimeter of your building. Okay? For an exterior wall, you're going to divide that by 4 feet because all your pieces of plywood are standing up at 4 feet. Okay?
50 times 35, no?
Huh?
50 times 35.
No, if your building's 50 by 35, you go 50 plus 35 times 2.
Okay.
To give you your whole perimeter, your linear footage of the building. Okay? Or you can take your square footage. So you could go 50 times 8, 35 times 8, and now your square footage. And then you can divide by 32. Do you know why we divide by 32?
What?
32? 4 times 8. How many square feet in a piece of plywood? 32. Okay? I rarely do that. I like to envision how my plywood's going to go down. I've screwed myself many times, and you add up a floor, and you just do the square footage. So you go 50 by 35, that's your square footage, and then you divide that by 32, and then all of a sudden you're missing a few pieces of plywood, because that's giving you exact square footage. But let's say you need a 26-inch strip at the end of your building, and you kind of screw the pooch on your measurement. So I like to figure out what I'm doing. I'll take the 35 and I'll go 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, 4 feet, to know how many rows I'm actually putting on. And then I know, okay, because when you get into the tongue and groove, you can't just drop any piece in there. That's got to be a grooved piece that you're finishing with. So again, it's better to envision what you're doing. When you're talking about estimating sheets standing up, you're going to take your perimeter, your linear footage, and you divide that by 4 feet, so you know how many pieces you need to put in standing up. Cool? You got that? I know it's a mouthful today, guys. We will go over all this again on Monday. There's a lot of theory that I gave you that you probably won't even really need down below. A lot of it you will, like the header trick, the 4-inch header trick, the rough openings, the method of assembly. We'll go over all that down below. But remember, those rough openings, very important that you know that. The half-inch, the 4-inch, all that's really important to remember. And the assembly, again, like I said, we'll go over it all down below. Quick little quiz for you guys. We'll correct it together. We'll do this quick, you can work together. It's more just to go over all the main points from today. Cool? If you don't understand what I'm asking, ask me, because I'm sure I screwed up a few questions, and I'm kind of curious to know if you can answer it all. I'll give you like 5 minutes, and then we'll correct it together. Where are you going, Michael? Where's Jesse? Why do you guys keep leaving? Hey, Sam, you want one? You know you're missing students when you brought this many. No problem. your guides if you want. I'm cool with that. This is just kind of a review, so. Oh, one question I didn't cover. Don't worry about number 7. Stud length. I'm not going to go into that. I think I've fit enough into your brains, but.
That's number 7.
Yeah, it's very straightforward. You to figure out the height of your stud, because you're going to be given a height of the ceiling, right? So to figure out the height of your stud, they're going to say we want our ceiling at this. So you take that ceiling height and you add all your finishing. So if you have 3/4 hardwood flooring going down, or if you have furring and gyprock going down, right, that's going to shrink your stud, right? So you add that, and then you take off your plates. You take off your 4.5 to know how high your stud is. I'm not going to go into that today. We can look at that later. As a gnat, is it too hard?
No.
Usually you're not good? You're good today?
Number 10, it says when tracing wall plates, what measurement is normally given for door and window placement? Is that to the center?
Fire. Should be stuff I've covered. Should. bucks? For
Yeah,
bucks?
86 plus that.
Yeah. There you go, guys. We're raising a nice wall there. That's how the Amish do it. There you go, bashing the wall into place with a sledgehammer.
Has that ever happened? Somebody raise a wall and it fell over the other side?
No, it actually rarely happens. It's they're usually so heavy that you really gotta mess up to have it kick off like that, and it's tacked in anyways. Never had to drop it. I've lowered a wall, which is brutal. Big long wall too. They screwed something up. I wasn't there. I don't know. It was like for a company. There was like 2 different crews, and we got a call right before lunch. So can you guys come down and have lunch down here? Like my crew was like 4 or 5 guys. I was like, yeah, sure. They didn't say anything. We went down, and it was like this 50-foot mega wall that had to be taken down. So when you're like lifting up, you're like, you know, and then you're done. Where it's taken down, it was just really weird and awkward. And I don't. It was something to do with plumbing. I had to lift the wall off the plumbing and then put it back on. They screwed something up, but bringing it down was also something. Oh yeah, that was. I think it was the boss that screwed it up. So. I'm trying to find a picture of that sheathing covering the joists. You guys done?
Yeah.
No questions. So I guess it was all right.
Just the end. You have to get this other forgot.
Divide by 12. Divide by a foot. That's just a rule of
And
thumb.
then you
eh?
add one. No, don't you add one at the end?
No, that's for joists. This you divide by a foot and you're good. And like I said, it's going to be more, but that covers all your corner posts because all your corner you get 2, right? All your cripplers, all that, all your jack posts.
Isn't that what you add one?
Hmm?
Isn't that what you add?
No, that's your floor joists. I mean, there's different systems. There's guys that do different things, but rule of thumb and like estimating it, guys, you always kind of you get 77, go for 80. You know. Same with plywood. You always not the end of the world to have an extra sheet of plywood kicking around on site. You know. It really sucks to run out. Yeah, except for number 7, I pretty much covered everything. Right? Correct. Not cool. No, just a chill little review thing, just to hammer the information home. Kevin, you alright? Were you partying last night or something? Or
I don't know if
you tired?
Yeah.
Video games? You play video games?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Too much Fortnite? Yeah.
Too much what?
I knew it.
Too much what?
This new game that came out, everybody's going crazy over it.
What is it?
It's like, it's an arcade game, sort of. You're one guy, you have to battle against 100 people.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like survive. It sounds
I can't play video games anymore. I get a headache. I got hooked on Battlefield years ago when I guess Battlefield 2 or 3 or whatever. The online one. Yeah. I got into that. Almost lost my job because of that. And then I kind of quit. And now I've turned it on and I can't go more than like half an hour. Plus it's just 12-years-olds just killing me over and over again. I got fed up.
That's the thing we grew up on, like video games.
Yeah.
We're like the video game era, you know, when it came out, so it's like for us, I'm sure even in our 40s, 60s, we'll be playing video games.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's what I find. Like I'm an old bastard, but I still have friends that play video games because you know, though I had older video games, but still, like I have a PS3 and I still fire it on once in a while. If I'm at home all night, and you know, but it's older games. I don't know. I almost bought a PS4 just for the Star Wars game. I wanted to play that.
Battlefield?
Yeah, Battlefield.
My brother's a crazy about that game.
I almost bought it for that, but I don't play video games very much. But I can see the addiction and I can see the enjoyment. You know, like I have another buddy who hates them. You know, I'm like, dude, you love Star Wars, you love sci-fi. It's like you're playing a movie. Like they're so good now too. It's incredible. You know, like it's mind blowing what you can do.
It's even good for like Netflix and YouTube, like you can watch videos and stuff on it. It's like a computer.
Oh, my PS3's come in super handy. It'll play stuff that I can't play on. Like I'm a Mac guy. I can DivX, whatever. It'll play anything, that thing. You know, like yeah, amazing machine for what I bought it for $300 10 years ago or something like that. You know, like and it's still going. Yeah, I still have my Netflix. It still works. So, you guys done? Missing three, not bad. Okay, what are the top and bottom horizontal members of a wall frame? It's pretty bobo, no? Where's Jesse? He went home. Did he go home?
No, I don't think so.
No. Does he not go home? Sitting in the toilet? He doesn't go home.
Can't go over
You can't go home. What are the horizontal? What is the horizontal member supporting the load over a door called? Lintel. Lintel, header, lintel in French. Cool. What are the shortened studs above or below an opening called?
Purple studs.
Cripples. What do you call the vertical? And honestly, in French, the ones up top there, they're usually really small. They bonhommes. Oh, you can call them bonhommes underneath.
Things called bonhomme in every.
Everything's got a bonhomme.
Yeah.
Patent and bonhomme, doohickey in English. So yeah, put those little guys in. And, you know.
C'est un bon remplacement pour faire des choses.